Hey internet heathens, it's Bonnie. Today I am here with a fall book haul. I did not get all of these books in the fall, but I got most of them in the fall. So, good enough. The first book I got is Always and Forever Laura Jean by Jenny Han. This is the third and final book in the To All the Boys I've Loved Before trilogy, which was a duology, which is now a trilogy. I wasn't really sure about this book. Like, I knew I would like it because I've liked the other books in the series, but I wasn't super happy with the second book. I wasn't entirely happy with the love interest in that book. Like, they hadn't really won me over, to be honest. But in this book, they really did. Like, I don't know if it's just because I had time away from the series and I forgot about how the character was in, like, the first and second book. I really don't know what it was, but I loved the characters a lot more in this one. They were a little more mature in this one. And yeah, it was just a great... I don't know, why am I talking like I'm doing a review? This is a book haul anyway. The next book I have is The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas, which, if you haven't heard about this book, then you're literally not a part of this community. You are living under a rock. You are watching maybe just television. You haven't looked at the New York Times bestseller list. You haven't come out of your hole. This book follows a girl named Star, and she witnesses her friend get killed by a police officer, and so it's based on like the Black Lives Matter movement. And yeah, so it's pretty heavy, but there's also times where like I laughed out loud in this book, which, again, not trying to give a review, but this book is amazing. There's a reason it's at the top of the New York Times bestseller list, and it's having a movie, and it's so good. And you have to read it. Next, I have not one, but two books by my queen, Leigh Bardugo. The first is The Beautiful Language of Thorns, which is a collection of short stories that take place in the Grisha world. It's kind of like the stories and the fairy tales that the characters in the Grisha world would have read. So whereas we have, you know, like Grimm's fairy tales and things like that, they would have The Language of Thorns. I haven't read this one yet because I'm a fake fan, I guess. I don't know. I want to read it at the right time, you know, where I'm in a good reading mood and everything. And yeah, I'm really excited to read it. I've heard nothing but amazing things. It's so beautiful. There's like full page illustrations and stuff. Well, I guess that's not full page, but basically full page illustrations on the inside, and I can't wait. The other Leigh Bardugo book is obviously Wonder Woman Warbringer. I got a signed copy. Thanks, Barnes & Noble. I think Language of Thorns is signed too, because that's the only reason to buy from Barnes & Noble instead of Amazon. Let's be real. Again, I got this because Leigh Bardugo is my queen. Again, I haven't read it because I'm a fake fan. I'm not that into superhero stuff anymore, and even when I was mostly on Marvel's bandwagon because, I mean, whatever. However, I have seen Wonder Woman, and it was an amazing movie, probably the only amazing movie in the DC franchise right now. So I do hope to read this one, you know, eventually, whenever I know I need a book that's gonna have great writing and great characters, because when has Leigh Bardugo not given me great writing and great characters? Never. That's the answer. Next, I have The Dreadful Tale of Prosper Redding by Alexandra Bracken. I am a huge fan of Alexandra Bracken. I own all of her books except for her Star Wars book because I've never seen Star Wars. Drag me, but I really don't care. This book is her first middle grade book, and it follows Prosper Redding. Bet you didn't see that one coming. And basically he has like a demon inside of him because his great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather is doing fine. No, wrong. Basically his ancestor made this kind of deal or whatever, and now Prosper has to live with this demon inside of him. And it was really fun. It was perfect for Halloween. I didn't like love it. Love it. It was really fun though, and I think if you read a lot of middle grade, you'd probably like this. I think this is kind of like a darker, more mature middle grade, but still very fun and, you know, perfect for all ages. Basically, I just stan Alexandra Bracken, so, you know, if she has a book, I'm gonna buy it. This next part of the book haul is going to be the trash section, so please don't drag me, or do, I don't care. It's the trash, okay? Anyway, this is Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas, which is the 6th unexpected book in the Throne of Glass series. This was supposed to be a novella, but it's like 700 pages, I think, close to it. I know a lot of people were like, I'm not gonna read that because it doesn't seem that important. And on one end, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not the most important. Like, did we need this for the story? No, she could have summed it up, I guess, in a few chapters in the next Throne of Glass book. However, as a Kel Westphal stan who was very upset about his utter lack of appearance in Empire Storms, sorry if that was a spoiler, I don't think so. He's not in it. Just get ready for yourself. I don't know. This book was necessary because his story deserves to be told, okay? I don't care if you don't like Kel. You can go sail on Rowan's feather back or whatever you want to. That was horrible. I'm sorry. In terms of just the Throne of Glass books, I really loved this because I love Kel Westphal, and that's all I have to say. As a book just out in the world, obviously Sarah J. Maas, she has some questionable writing, some questionable characters, some questionable representation, a very lack of diversity. I think she tries a little more in this one, but I can't tell you if she gets it right because it's not my lane. But I'm sure there are people on the internet that have. Or maybe they've finally given up. You know, maybe we're all done talking about her. Closing out our section on trash now, at least I think it's not closing it out because there's more. Anyway, I'm going to talk about the next 3 books together because they're all in the same series, and that is, yep, these books, the Captive Prince Trilogy, which features Captive Prince, Prince's Gambit, and King's Rising, all by C.S. Pacat? I don't know what. She's Australian, so how would you say that in Australian? Explaining these books are kind of hard because this first book is utter trash. It's very problematic. Lots of trigger warnings for just abuse, rape, anything under the sun, really, that you can think of that is problematic is probably in this book. However, the 2 main characters are very interesting main characters. They're very fascinating to read from, and the next books don't really have the problematic aspects that this book has. So, I don't know, it's up to you to decide whether that makes it okay, whether you want to read it. I don't know, that's a personal decision you have to make. I, however, did really enjoy this series, even though it's pretty trashy, but the main characters are just really great. I was pretty much peer pressured into reading these by, You Know Who You Are, but they were good, so I'm glad I was. I mean, this one was questionable, but these 2 were good. And now I have 2 new sons, I guess. I'm gonna say that this book closes out the trash section. I'm not really sure if this is trash. I'm just basing off of what I've kind of heard about it so far, and that is The Becoming of Noah Shah by Michelle Hodkin. This is the first book in a spin-off series from the Mara Dyer trilogy, following our main love interest from that series, Mr. Noah Shah. Now, when this was first announced, I was so excited because I loved Noah Shah, but they have like this first page of the book that lists some trigger warnings, which you think that'd be great, like that's what we kind of want in books, right? But this kind of makes it so it's like sarcastic, almost mocking trigger warnings, which I guess would be an aspect of Noah's character because he's very sarcastic and dark and I don't know, but like, it wasn't necessary, honey. As for the book as a whole, I haven't heard that great things about it, so I don't even know when I'm gonna read this. I don't know if I'm gonna like it, but we'll see. I have no idea what this follows, like what the plot is. I just know it's about Noah, and I'm guessing Mara's there because it'd be kind of weird if she wasn't. The next book I won on Twitter, which is great because it meant I didn't have to spend my own money on it, and that's All the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stiefvater. This might also be part of the trash section because I know people have had their issues with this book. I don't know if that was only based on the premise alone or if people have read it and been like, yikes. You can do like some research on that. I don't know exactly what is the problem with it. I'll have to look it up myself. Anyway, I do enjoy Maggie Stiefvater though, at least what I've read. I've only read The Raven Cycle, but I can't really tell you what this book is about. I think it has to do with magic, miracles. I think, yeah, here's the thing everyone wants, a miracle. Here's the thing everyone fears, what it takes to get one. There you go. Your guess is as good as mine is what this follows. Next, I have... my Christmas tree's attacking me. Next, I have Turtles All the Way Down by John Green because, of course, John Green came out with a new book, so I had to buy it. Honestly, the only reason I pre-ordered this on Amazon was so that I could pre-order the signed edition on Amazon, even though now you can find the signed copies like everywhere, but whatever, I still have one. I've actually heard really good things about this. I'm kind of surprised. I wasn't sure how this was going to be recepted. I mean, it's been a long time since John Green has written a book, and people don't all love his other books. Like, the consensus I feel on John Green has changed over the years. But from what I've heard really good things. I've heard that it's great OCD rep, I've heard that it's great anxiety rep, and that the story is good. Cheers to that, I hope it's true. Again, I really have no idea what this is about. I guess it's probably a coming-of-age novel because it's John Green. And yeah, I'm just hoping that I like it like everybody else does. The next book I have is Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Sean McGuire. I think when I first talked about this series, I said Sean. And I would just like to apologize to Shannon because that was not your name. Anyway, this is the sequel slash companion novel, I really don't know, to the Every Heart a Doorway book. I don't know if it's a sequel or a prequel or a what, but it's in that world. I haven't read this one yet, but I really enjoyed Every Heart a Doorway. Not as much as some other people do, but I did really enjoy it, and I want to continue with these books. And yeah, they're super short too, so if you have a short attention span, which is me lately, or just not a lot of energy, it's great. As for what this is about, I honestly don't know, but the first book in the series, Every Heart a Doorway, follows these children who have been in different worlds, kind of like Narnia, and they've now come back to the real world and they can't handle it. They're like, this is not the world I belong in, I want to go back home, but they can't because they're here. The final book I have to show you is a little controversial, so maybe it should be in the trash section, but I don't know. And that is Milk and Vine by Adam. I'm not even gonna try it. I mean, they didn't actually write this, they just put it together. If you haven't heard about this book, this is obviously a little parody of Milk and Honey, and inside is just famous Vine quotes, so just famous Vines that we all love and adore. The controversy on this is that some people don't think that this should be able to be sold because it uses other people's content from Vine. I don't know how I feel on that line. I mean, I think there are points on both sides that make sense. But I remember I saw it and it was like an instant purchase. Like I was just like, yep, I need it. Especially because when I bought it, it was under $3 on Amazon. I think now they're selling it for $5. But yeah, I spent like $3 on this. It's a very fun book to have. One day when I have my own, you know, apartment or whatever, I can set it on the coffee table and maybe even get a copy of actual Milk and Honey and have it like side by side. That'd be hilarious. So these are all the books that I have just talked about and shown you and that I purchased this fall-ish. That's all I had for this video. Let me know if you read any of those books or if you want to read them or if you have opinions on them. I don't know, just tell me something. But until then, I will see you in my next video. Bye.